Shalom, I'm Rabbi David, and today I'm going to reveal something that will completely change how you think about retirement wealth. If you're approaching retirement or already in retirement and you're worried that you don't have enough money, this video is for you. Because I'm going to show you 5 types of retirees who are actually much richer than they think. Despite what the financial media tells you, despite what the retirement calculators say, despite what your friends and neighbors might have, you might be one of these 5 types. And if you are, you need to understand just how wealthy you actually are. Because in the Talmud it teaches, who is rich? He who is satisfied with his portion. Notice it doesn't say he who has $1 million. It doesn't say he who has a big portfolio. It says he who is satisfied. Wealth is not just about the numbers in your account. Wealth is about your expenses, your lifestyle, your peace of mind, your security. And these 5 types of retirees have something that money can't buy. They have true wealth. They have real security. They have genuine peace. So let me reveal who they are. And if you're one of them, I want you to stop worrying, stop comparing yourself to others, and start recognizing just how blessed you are. Type number 1, the mortgage-free retiree. If you own your home outright, if you have no mortgage payment, congratulations. You've just eliminated the single largest expense in retirement, and that makes you far wealthier than you realize. Here's why. Most retirees underestimate the value of being mortgage-free because housing wealth doesn't show up the same way an investment account does. You can't log into an app and see your home equity growing. You can't check it daily like you check your 401k. But when your largest expense disappears, the income you need to maintain your lifestyle drops dramatically. Let me give you the math. If your mortgage payment is $2,500 per month, that's $30,000 per year. Using the 4% rule, you would need $750,000 in your retirement account to generate that $30,000. So being mortgage-free is the equivalent of having an extra $750,000 in your nest egg. And we're not even accounting for taxes here. That means a smaller nest egg can sustain your retirement far more effectively than conventional calculators assume. Think about it. If you have $500,000 in retirement savings and no mortgage, you're actually in a better position than someone with $1 million in savings and a $2,500 monthly mortgage payment. Because you need less income, you have less risk, you have more flexibility. And here's the hidden advantage. If circumstances change, if you need more income, your home equity can be tapped through a reverse mortgage, through a home equity loan, or by downsizing. Unlike investments, which fluctuate with the market, real estate has historically outpaced inflation and provides a hedge against your other investments. Being mortgage-free also creates lifestyle options. You can downsize and unlock hundreds of thousands in cash. You can relocate to a lower-cost area. You can take advantage of geographic arbitrage. In Proverbs 24, verses 3-4, it says, "By wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it is established. Through knowledge its rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures." You've built your house. You've established it. You own it outright. That is rare and beautiful treasure. So, if you're mortgage-free, recognize your wealth. You're richer than you think. Type number 2, the modest spender. I want to tell you about Hilda. I met Hilda when she was 65. She had just retired from teaching. She was single. She had a pension of $1,900 per month and Social Security of $1,900 per month. Total guaranteed income, $3,800 per month. She owned her home outright, worth about $150,000. She had $75,000 in her IRA and $100,000 in savings. Total investable assets, $175,000. By conventional standards, Hilda was not wealthy. She didn't have $1 million. She didn't have a big portfolio. But here's the kicker. Hilda lived a full, rich life on $3,000 per month. She never touched her savings. She never touched her IRA. She lived entirely on her pension and Social Security. And she was happy. She had friends. She was active in her community. She helped raise her grandchildren. She traveled modestly. She enjoyed her life. Hilda was richer than many of my million-dollar clients because she had something they didn't: contentment, satisfaction, peace. This is the power of modest spending. When your expenses are naturally low, the income you need in retirement falls dramatically below conventional projections. Where financial planners might model $70,000 or $80,000 per year for an average household, a modest spender may thrive on $40,000 or $50,000. This means their nest egg stretches further, their withdrawal rates remain safer, their margin of security is far greater than they realize. And these modest habits don't happen by accident. They're cultivated over decades. Retirees who have consistently lived within their means have developed skills that carry into retirement. They know how to stretch a dollar. They know how to find value. They know how to avoid waste. Those skills compound their financial resilience. They ensure that retirement funds last longer. They make unexpected expenses easier to absorb. With lower expenses, modest spenders can retire earlier on the same savings, or they can enjoy a larger financial cushion if they keep working longer. Their discipline also gives them greater flexibility during market downturns. While others face painful lifestyle cuts when portfolios fall, modest spenders are already living lean and can adapt without feeling deprived. In 1 Timothy 6:6 it says, "Godliness with contentment is great gain." Contentment is great gain, not just spiritually, financially. If you're a modest spender, if you've lived within your means your whole life, if you don't need much to be happy, you're richer than you think. Type number 3, the pension recipient. If you have a pension, you have something that most people don't: guaranteed income for life. Market-proof wealth, security that no stock market crash can take away. And yet, many pension recipients undervalue this. Because a pension doesn't sit in an investment account that you can log into and check. It doesn't show up on your net worth statement. But here's the truth. A pension is worth far more than its monthly payment suggests. Let me give you the math. If your pension provides $2,500 per month in guaranteed income, that's $30,000 per year. Using the 4% rule, that's the equivalent of having $750,000 in your retirement account. So, a $2,500 monthly pension is worth $750,000. And you don't have to worry about market volatility. You don't have to worry about sequence of returns risk. You don't have to worry about running out of money. The check arrives every month, regardless of what the stock market does, regardless of what the economy does, regardless of anything. That is priceless. That is security. That is wealth. The power of guaranteed income lies in what it eliminates: uncertainty. Market-based portfolios rise and fall. This creates stress around withdrawals, fear about outliving your money. But pension checks arrive every month. They provide predictability. They reduce the pressure to chase higher returns. They provide peace of mind that essential expenses will always be covered. And here's the strategic advantage. Because your essential expenses are covered by guaranteed income, your investment portfolio can be more aggressive. You can take more risk. You can pursue higher returns. Because you don't need your portfolio for basic living expenses. You only need it for discretionary spending, for travel, for gifts, for legacy. This allows you to grow your wealth even in retirement. While others are drawing down their portfolios, you're growing yours. In Psalm 37:25 it says, "I was young, and now I am old. Yet I have never seen the righteous forsaken, or their children begging bread." A pension is God's provision. It's a blessing. It's security for you and your children. If you have a pension, recognize your wealth. You're richer than you think. Type number 4. The debt-free retiree. If you enter retirement with no debt, no mortgage, no car payments, no credit card balances, no personal loans, you have achieved something remarkable. You have financial freedom, you have flexibility, you have security. Because debt is slavery. In Proverbs 22:7 it says, "The borrower is slave to the lender." When you have debt, you're not free. You're obligated, you're constrained, you're vulnerable. But when you're debt-free, you're liberated. You can live on less, you can weather storms, you can make choices based on what you want, not what you owe. Let me give you an example. 2 retirees. Both have $500,000 in retirement savings. Both receive $2,000 per month in Social Security. Retiree A has no debt. Retiree B has a $1,500 monthly mortgage payment and a $400 monthly car payment. Retiree A needs to withdraw about $2,000 per month from their portfolio to cover expenses. That's $24,000 per year. A 4.8% withdrawal rate, sustainable. Retiree B needs to withdraw about $4,000 per month from their portfolio to cover the same lifestyle plus debt payments. That's $48,000 per year. A 9.6% withdrawal rate, unsustainable. Retiree A's money will last 30-plus years. Retiree B's money will be gone in 15 years. Same savings, same Social Security, completely different outcomes. Why? Debt. Being debt-free means you need less income. You have less stress. You have more options. If the market crashes, you can tighten your belt without fear. If you want to travel, you can without guilt. If you want to help your children, You can without jeopardizing your own security. Debt-free retirement is true wealth. It's freedom. It's peace. If you're entering retirement debt-free, recognize your wealth. You're richer than you think. Type number 5, the geographically flexible retiree. If you're willing to relocate in retirement, if you're not tied to a high-cost area, if you can move to a place with lower taxes, lower housing costs, lower cost of living, you have a superpower. You have the ability to multiply your wealth without earning another dollar. Let me give you an example. You own a home in California worth $800,000. You sell it. You move to Tennessee. You buy a similar home for $300,000. You pocket $500,000. Suddenly, your retirement savings just increased by $500,000. Without working, without investing, just by relocating. Or consider this. You're living in New York City. Your expenses are $6,000 per month. You move to Florida. Your expenses drop to $3,500 per month. You just saved $30,000 per year. Using the 4% rule, that's the equivalent of having an extra $750,000 in your retirement account. Geographic flexibility is a wealth multiplier. It allows you to stretch your retirement savings. It allows you to live better on less. It allows you to create margin and security. And in retirement, you have this flexibility. You're not tied to a job. You're not tied to a school district. You're not tied to anything except your own preferences. In Genesis 12, God tells Abraham, "Leave your country, your people, and your father's household, and go to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you." Abraham was willing to relocate, and God blessed him abundantly. If you're willing to relocate in retirement, if you're geographically flexible, you have access to blessings that others don't. You can live in a place with no state income tax. You can live in a place with low property taxes. You can live in a place with affordable health care. You can live in a place with a lower cost of living. And all of that translates into wealth, real, tangible, spendable wealth. If you're geographically flexible, recognize your wealth. You're richer than you think. So those are the 5 types of retirees who are richer than they think. 1. The mortgage-free retiree. 2. The modest spender. 3. The pension recipient. 4. The debt-free retiree. 5. The geographically flexible retiree. If you're one of these 5 types, or if you're multiple of these types, you need to stop worrying. Stop comparing yourself to arbitrary benchmarks. Stop believing the narrative that you need $1 million to retire, because you have something more valuable than a big portfolio. You have security. You have flexibility. You have peace. You have freedom. And that is true wealth. In Philippians 4:11-12, Paul writes, "I have learned to be content whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation." The secret is contentment. The secret is gratitude. The secret is recognizing what you have instead of focusing on what you don't have. So here's my challenge to you. If you're one of these 5 types, write down all the ways you're wealthy, not just financially, but in every way. Your health, your relationships, your freedom, your security, your peace of mind. And then thank God for it. Express gratitude. Recognize your blessings. Because when you do that, when you shift from scarcity to abundance, when you recognize how rich you truly are, something amazing happens. You stop worrying. You start enjoying. You live with peace. You live with joy. You live with contentment. And that is the ultimate wealth. In the comments below, tell me, are you one of these 5 types? Which one? And how has it blessed your retirement? And if this video shifted your perspective on retirement wealth, subscribe to this channel. Next week, I'm going to teach you the exact retirement withdrawal strategy I use with my wealthiest clients. Remember, true wealth is not about how much you have. It's about how much you need and how content you are with what you have. You're richer than you think. Shalom, and until next time. But before you go, I need to address something that you are listening. But before you go, I need to address something that Barthile from Critical. Something that prevents many retirees from recognizing their wealth and enjoying their retirement. It's called comparison, the thief of joy, the destroyer of contentment, the enemy of gratitude. You see, we live in a world that constantly tells us we don't have enough. The financial media says you need $2 million to retire. Your neighbor just bought a new RV. Your friend is taking a European cruise. Your brother-in-law is bragging about his portfolio. And suddenly, you feel poor. You feel inadequate. You feel like you failed. But here's the truth. Comparison is a trap. It's a lie. It's a distortion of reality. In 2 Corinthians 10:12 it says, "When they measure themselves by themselves and compare themselves with themselves, they are not wise." Comparing yourself to others is not wise, because you don't know their full story. You don't know their debt. You don't know their stress. You don't know their regrets. That neighbor with the new RV, maybe they're drowning in debt. Maybe they can't sleep at night. Maybe they're one market crash away from disaster. That friend taking the European cruise, maybe they're spending their children's inheritance. Maybe they're trying to fill a void. Maybe they're not as happy as they appear. That brother-in-law bragging about his portfolio, maybe he's lying. Maybe he's exaggerating. Maybe he's compensating for insecurity. You don't know. And it doesn't matter, because their journey is not your journey. Their wealth is not your wealth. Their retirement is not your retirement. Your only comparison should be to yourself. Are you better off today than you were yesterday? Are you more secure today than you were last year? Are you more content today than you were a decade ago? If the answer is yes, you're winning, you're progressing, you're succeeding. And if you're one of the 5 types I described, if you're mortgage-free, or a modest spender, or a pension recipient, or debt-free, or geographically flexible, you're not just winning, you're thriving. You have advantages that money can't buy. You have security that portfolios can't provide. You have peace that wealth can't guarantee. So stop comparing. Stop measuring yourself against arbitrary standards. Stop believing the lie that you're not enough. You are enough. You have enough. You are blessed. Now, let me give you one more piece of wisdom, one more key to unlocking true retirement wealth. It's this: wealth is not just about money. It's about time. It's about health. It's about relationships. It's about purpose. You can have $10 million in the bank, but if you're sick, if you're lonely, if you have no purpose, are you really wealthy? No. You're poor. You're impoverished. You're bankrupt in the things that matter most. But you can have $200,000 in savings, a paid-off house, a modest lifestyle, good health, loving relationships, and a sense of purpose. Are you wealthy? Yes, absolutely, undeniably. In Luke 12:15, Jesus says, "Watch out. Be on your guard against all kinds of greed. Life does not consist in an abundance of possessions." Life does not consist in an abundance of possessions. It consists in an abundance of what truly matters. So, as you enter retirement, or as you navigate retirement, focus on the things that truly matter. Your health. Exercise. Eat well. Take care of your body, because without health, wealth means nothing. Your relationships. Spend time with family, invest in friendships, build community, because relationships are the foundation of happiness. Your purpose. Find something that gives your life meaning. Volunteer, mentor, create, serve, because purpose gives life direction and fulfillment. When you have health, relationships, and purpose, you're wealthy. Even if your bank account is modest, even if your portfolio is small, even if you don't have millions, you're wealthy in the ways that matter. You're wealthy in the ways that last. You're wealthy in the ways that bring true joy. And here's the beautiful thing. When you focus on health, relationships, and purpose, your financial needs often decrease. You don't need as much money to be happy. You don't need as much stuff to feel fulfilled. You don't need as much status to feel valuable. You need less, which means you have more. More margin, more security, more peace. This is the paradox of retirement wealth. The less you need, the richer you are. So let me leave you with this final thought, this final blessing, this final truth. You are richer than you think. Not because I say so, but because it's objectively true. If you're mortgage-free, you have $500,000 to $750,000 in equivalent wealth. If you're a modest spender, you can live comfortably on half of what conventional wisdom says you need. If you have a pension, you have $500,000 to $1 million in equivalent guaranteed wealth. If you're debt-free, you have flexibility and security that money can't buy. If you're geographically flexible, you have the ability to multiply your wealth by 50% or more just by relocating. Add those together. Stack those advantages. Recognize those blessings. And then live accordingly. Live with confidence. Live with peace. Live with gratitude. Live with joy. Because you're not poor. You're not struggling. You're not failing. You're blessed. You're secure. You're wealthy. In Deuteronomy 8:18 it says, Remember the Lord your God,